Hi friends, in my last lecture I explained you joint Hindu family. Today I am going to tell you about the Hindu undivided family. Definition of joint Hindu family and Hindu undivided family is very slightly differ from each other. For the purpose of tax assessment, we have given this name Hindu undivided family. Otherwise, both are of the similar values. Income from the ancestral property held by following families is taxable as income of Hindu undivided family. What are the combinations? First, a family of widow mother and son, maybe minor, maybe major. Second, family of husband and wife having no child. Third, family of two widows of deceased brothers. Fourth, family of two or more brothers. Fifth, family of uncle and nephew. Sixth, family of mother, son, and son's wife. And last, family of a male and his late brother's wife. All these combination of families can come under the Hindu undivided family and can be assessed under the taxable as a taxable unit. Assessment of Hindu undivided family. And Hindu undivided family is recognized as a separate assessable entity under the Act. Its income may be assessed if following two conditions are satisfied. First, there should be a co-partnership. There must be a co-partnership. In this connection, it is worthwhile to mention that once a joint family income is assessed as that of Hindu undivided family, it continues to be assessed as such in subsequent assessment years till the partition is claimed by the co-partner. If one time it has been assessed as a Hindu undivided family, it will continue. We can't break it till that family further divide into different joint family or Hindu undivided family. There should be a joint family property which consists of ancestral property. It's a mandatory. There must be an ancestral property acquired with the aid of ancestral property and property transferred by its member. So, for Hindu undivided family, there must be a joint family property or ancestral property. It's a mandatory condition for the formation of Hindu undivided family. Wife is a member of Hindu undivided family, but not a co-partner. She would be entitled to a share in the HUF property only upon partition. Though a wife cannot demand a partition of the Hindu undivided family property, if there is a partition, she will get a share equal to that of her husband and her children who are part of the HUF family. Property obtained by daughter from joint family property would be her absolute property. Any income therefrom is chargeable to tax in her hands in her individual status only. Now we come to the very common and very important term, co-partnery. It includes only those persons who acquire by birth an interest in the joint or co-partnery property. These are sons, grandsons, great-grandsons of the holder of the joint property for the time being. In other words, the three generations next to the holder in unbroken male descent. So this is a term that's without this term that we can't even think for a Hindu undivided family or joint Hindu family. Hindu co-partnery is much narrower body than the joint family. Co-partnery begins with a common male ancestor with his lineal descendants in a male line within 4 degrees, counting from aunt inclusive of such ancestor. The Mitakshara concept of co-partnery is based on the notion of son's birthright in the joint family property. The moment a son takes birth in a joint Hindu family and Hindu undivided family, he become a co-partner. But it is restricted to only male linear descendants, not female. Though every co-partnery must have a common ancestor to start with, it is to be supposed that every extent co-partnery is limited to 4 degrees from the common ancestor. When a member of a joint family is removed more than 4 degrees from the last holder, he cannot demand a partition and therefore he is not a co-partner. Whenever a break of more than 3 degrees occurs between any holder of property and the person who claims to enter the co-partnery after his death, the line ceases in that direction and the survivorship is confined to those collaterals and descendants who are within the limit of 4 degrees. Any person who is not coming under the limit of these 4 degrees of co-partnership can't claim any property or any right on that ancestral property or joint Hindu family property, because it is restricted only to the 4 generations. Though every co-partnery must have a common ancestor to start with, it is not to be supposed that every extent co-partnery is limited to 4 degrees from the common ancestor. The incidents of co-partnery are the lineal male descendants of a person up to the 3rd generation acquires on birth ownership in the ancestral properties of such person. These rights person acquires on birth only. As soon as he take birth in that family, that acquires. The incidents of co-partnery are the lineal male descendants of a person up to the 3rd generation acquire on birth ownership in the ancestral properties of such person. Up to 3rd generation, it extends. Such descendants can at any time work out their rights by asking for the partition. Descendants are allowed to ask for the partition at any time of their life. Till partition, each member has got ownership extending over the entire property. Conjointly, enjoyment of properties is common. जब तक पार्टीशन नहीं होता है, हर एक मेंबर का उस प्रॉपर्टी पर इक्वल राइट है. Every person has equal right. Every person has equal right to enjoy that property, and every person have equal right of the possession on that property. Supreme Court has summarized the position and observed that the co-partnery property is held in collective ownership by all the co-partners in a quasi-corporate capacity. No alienation of property is possible if it is for necessity. It can't be without the concurrence of co-partners. Every co-partner should give his consent for that. And the interest of deceased member passes on his death to surviving co-partner. अगर किसी की डेथ हो जाती है तो उसका जो शेयर है वो सर्वाइविंग को-पार्टनर के साथ में जाता है, उनके साथ वो जुड़ जाता है. Every co-partner and every other member of joint family has a right of maintenance out of the joint family property. The right of maintenance subsists through the life of the member so long as family remains joint. No female can be a co-partner under Mitakshara law, even wife, though she is entitled to maintenance. It's very easy to understand the difference between our joint Hindu family and co-partner. The senior most member of the Hindu family is known as Karta. The other members of the family are known as co-partner. Karta in joint Hindu family is also the senior most is Karta. So in order to constitute a joint Hindu family, the existence of any kind of property is not required. But where is a co-partnership? There is an ancestral property. Presence of an ancestral property is must to establish co-partnership. Joint Hindu family consists of male and female both. Joint Hindu family comprise both male and female, whereas in co-partnership, no female can be co-partner. Co-partners are members of joint Hindu family, whereas all the members, as I told you, because females can't be co-partner, so all members of joint Hindu family are not co-partner. The concept of co-partner has both spiritual and legal aspects. Co-partner is the person who acquires interest on property right from birth. Co-partner owns the unity, possession, and ownership of the title. The co-partner property is divided into ancestral property and joint Hindu property, which is not ancestral. So classification of property. Property according to Hindu law may be divided into two classes, namely joint family property and separate property. Joint family property may be divided according to the source from which it comes into ancestral property and separate property of co-partners. So what is joint family property? Under Mitakshara school, the joint family property devolves by survivorship. Property jointly acquired by the members of joint family with the aid of ancestral property may or may not be joint property. Whether it is so or not will always be a question of fact in each case. The term joint family property is synonymous with co-partner property. Separate property includes self-acquired property. What are the incidents of ancestral property? This is, first I think I should explain a little more. The ancestral property should be 4 generations old. Means great-grandfather, grandfather, father and son. There should be 4 generations. The property should not have been divided by the members. When the division partition happens, it becomes the self-acquired property and not ancestral property. Once the family divides, this property change from self-acquired to ancestral property. Sorry, when the partition takes place in a family, this ancestral property change into self-acquired property. The person has the right over the property right from birth. Ancestral property rights are controlled by per stripes and not by per capita. Shares are first determined for each generation and subdivided for the successive generation. These are the incidents of the ancestral property. As I told you, ancestral property may be defined as the property which is a man inherits from any of his 3 immediate male ancestors, that is, his father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. Therefore, property inherited from any other relation is not treated as ancestral property. Other side of this, self-acquired property, any property inherited other than the members' relations are known as separate property. Once the division ancestral property partition happens, all members will get an equal share from the property. The following are the incidents of the ancestral property. Friends, I just want to include this judgment in this regard. It was observed in Madras High Court judgment in V. Devraj versus Jayalakshmi Ammal on 28th February 1969, that court of this country as well as the Privy Council and the recognized textbook writers have indiscriminately used the expressions joint property, joint family property, ancestral property, and co-partnership property to denote one and the same property. There are different names we use in different relations and different context, but it is the same property without intending to make a distinction between the legal incidents depending upon the use of one or other of the expression. So these are different names we use in different context, but actually this is the same thing, same property. Thank you, friends.